Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 10.
In what I can only describe as a sensational slap in the face for the Lutyens media, which made him a VVIP and called him as a chief guest to their events. Yasin Malik, the terrorist, has pleaded guilty in a Delhi court to all charges of terrorism. First, getting in rhythm, and Abhishek to tell us in a minute what's happened there, 30 seconds each, and then we open up to a quick short debate. This is big. He's not even defending himself. He probably knows there's too much evidence against him. Rhythm.
Absolutely. Arnab, it's been 30 years that the case in 1990 started off against separatist leader Yasin Malik. He went to Pakistan, he got trained there. We remember how he came back and he started this independent secession movement that he had. Now that the court has already told charges need to be framed against him, Yasin Malik pleads guilty for all the charges, including very serious UAPA charges that will have to be seen. But I just want to, before I hand it to Abhishek and I hand it back to you, Arnab, go across to what Special Judge Parveen Singh had actually said when he wrote, there are people sitting across the border in Pakistan. They were the masterminds. They knew every conspirator who was out there, and the only reason they wanted to do this was bloodshed, violence, mayhem, destruction. And they also said it seems to be right out of Adolf Hitler's playbook.
Absolutely. You know, Abhishek, in 2008 there was a media organization which made him a youth icon. It said he's a youth icon. He's an icon for India. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us should Google search and find out which organization did that, whether they feel answerable to anyone today. This man has killed Indian Air Force personnel. He's a specialist killer, right? And the Lutyens media glamorized him, Abhishek. They really glamorized him. They built him up, propped him up.
Absolutely, Arnab. Absolutely. And that case is yet to come up, Arnab. In fact, the case in which he killed 4 Air Force personnel in Srinagar is coming up in Jammu. He would be meeting justice, or he would be delivered justice in that case also. But this one is post-Burhan Wani violence in the valley and the fundraising and his involvement in inciting that arson and violence. And he has pleaded guilty to all the charges along with others. And on 17th of May, Arnab, the judge would decide on what punishment has to be given. In this case, he gets a maximum of life imprisonment in jail. But there is another case of the Air Force personnel killing in which he's directly involved. He shot at them.
I am saying tonight, Abhishek, I really feel today when this news came in, the thought that came to my mind, Lalit Ambardar and Majid Hydari, is that here is a man who has killed Air Force personnel. He has killed Air Force personnel, and in 1990, and 18 years later, a media organization presented him as the youth icon of the country. They presented him, they awarded him. In which other country? He is a man who has confessed to killing Kashmiri Pandits on television. And 18 years after the genocide, a media organization presents him a youth icon award. Did they not know the charges against him? However, I shall not comment on that. My point is, however, viewers, you must understand, Parambir Singh, Sachin Waze, Yasin Malik, sometimes media really props up the wrong kinds of people. But history comes out with the truth anyway. Lalit Ambardar, what would you say to Majid Hydari today, who's always so soft to Yasin Malik?
Finally, the law is catching up.
Yes.
With the terrorist jihadis who should have been hanged 32 years ago, who at the behest of his Akas in Rawalpindi, GHQ Rawalpindi, launched Bleed India Kashmir Jihad, which was pan-Islamism inspired, and first victims of the jihad were Kashmiri Hindus. Brutal massacre, genocide of Kashmiri Hindus. This man is responsible for it. And you are referring to that media house event. Let me tell you, Arnab, I had campaigned against that. I had mailed to every member, every participant of that convention, that this man is a terrorist. Don't peddle terrorism. Don't even, don't support, don't sponsor, and don't patronize terrorists. And I managed to smuggle myself into the hall. And can you imagine when I raised my voice? There were superstars of Indian film industry there. There was who is who of Indian business industry there. There were politicians there. When I raised my voice, and by the way, the session was being moderated by one of the biggest business tycoons of India. When I raised
Shame. What a shame.
Voice,
What a shame.
Yeah, raise my voice.
What a shame, what a shame, what a shame, what a shame. No, they're responsible. I tell you one thing, Lalit. I tell you, this kind of media cannot be held, cannot plead guilty. I mean, they cannot plead non-guilty. I wonder whether they will plead guilty too. But the question is it true that he even met our Prime Minister Manmohan Singh? Is it true? Is it true? Is it true, Rhythm, that he even met Prime Minister Manmohan Singh?
Yes, he of course.
No, is it true? Did Manmohan Singh not know?
Arnab?
Did Manmohan Singh not know, Rhythm? Of course he knew.
Yes. Absolutely. Arnab, not only Manmohan Singh, there were others who did marches for him. Mehbooba Mufti did a march for him. These politicians who shook his hand, they need to understand that this is the time to hang their head in shame. Because we're talking about someone who's now finally, after 32 years, been framed
all
for
those
charges.
Pictures, everything, all of these people, like Arundhati Roy, shaking hands, treating him like a celeb. They made him like a celeb, and he was present in a photo exhibition. He was present in a photo exhibition which was titled "Voices for Peace, Voices of Freedom." The Lutyens lobby built up this evil man. Built up this evil man. How many things will you play down today, Majid Haidari? This is the man who said all the killers are my boys. And this man, Majid Haidari, went to Pakistan. He went to Pakistan. He shared a dais with the mastermind of the 2008 terror attacks. He killed Indian Air Force personnel. And people like you, Majid Haidari, hung on to every word of his. Did he not, Lalit Ambardar?
Yeah.
Did he not, this man who calls himself a Gandhian? Did he not, Lalit?
Yes or no?
Did he not?
See, I don't want to shout over anybody. Can I get a fair chance to speak?
I was thrown out at the convention hall. They called the bouncers and I was thrown off it. And before the police could come and take me away, I left the place. This was how he was treated there. He was received there as a state guest, as if he was.
I don't want to win a shouting match, please.
There's no shouting match. You plead guilty as well. You plead guilty as well today.
That is how.
Majid, you plead guilty as well.
Arnab, in a country where iconic and illustrious Mughal emperors are being dragged to the court of law.
Iconic and illustrious. Aurangzeb is iconic and illustrious for him, Abhishek. Aurangzeb is iconic and illustrious. Babur is iconic and illustrious for him. Come on. I'm sure you will call Hafiz Saeed iconic and illustrious as well. You are also a bigot.
Nawab Malik is booked only because
don't give any Hindu-Muslim angle to this. Don't give any Hindu-Muslim angle to this. Do you support?
Hafiz Saeed is a co-accused in this case.
How dare you?
Hafiz Saeed is a co-accused in this case.
What about Aurangzeb?
The man is pleaded guilty and he can't swallow it. Then why is Hafiz Saeed pleaded? No, 1 minute. Why is Yasin Malik pleaded guilty? Ask him. Why is Yasin Malik pleaded guilty? Why is Yasin Malik pleaded guilty? Has Abhishek Kapoor forced him to plead guilty?
What about Emperor Aurangzeb? What about Emperor Babur? What about Alauddin Khilji?
Pulls out Hindu-Muslim angle to everything most infuriating.
Muslim emperors who ruled India to make it Sone ki Chidiya.
Aurangzeb inflicted genocide of Hindu on Hindu. Remember it. He can be your forefather. He is not of Indian. He is a barbarian. He is a barbarian. See, Babur and Aurangzeb, Akbar can be your forefathers.
Abhishek is also on one. All of us on the debate.
I am proud of the Mughal era.
You don't understand. You do not understand.
Everyone on.
He has worked for
you would not have been alive.
His wife is in Pakistan.
No, they used to glamorize it. They used to glamorize it. They used to call it.
Brought about by the ISI.
You should be happy that this man is sent to gallows who brought death and destruction in Kashmir.
Yasin Malik has pleaded guilty in a case in which Hafiz Saeed is a co-accused.
Why are you getting frustrated,
Majid?
Majid?
About Manmohan Singh, how do you forget that Maulana Azhar Masood was given a farewell and landed in Kandahar? Who put there? Who was there at that time?
He's referring to a
Manmohan
terrorist.
Singh?
Anyway,
Was it Manmohan
listen. Now I want to tell you one thing. The court has already framed charges against all the others. Farooq Ahmad Dar, Bitta Karate, your favorite, Bitta Karate, Shabir Shah, Masarat Alam, Aftab Ahmad Shah, Altaf Ahmad Shah, Naeem Khan. And I want to tell you, the charge sheet is also filed against your favorite Hafiz Saeed and Syed Salahuddin. They are proclaimed offenders in the case. If you are so interested, get a law degree and fight for them in court. Ladies and gentlemen, big day today. Big day today, Yasin Malik. Yasin Malik has pleaded guilty. Also, ladies and gentlemen, the Khalistan link to the story we broke yesterday, the Mohali attack is out. The group SFJ has claimed responsibility and has even threatened Himachal with a Mohali-like attack. There has to be a full-scale crackdown on Khalistanis, not just in India, but globally. We have to use our clout to make sure it happens. We have to use the clout with countries like the UK, the US and Canada. If required, we should tell the UK we will not have a free trade agreement with them if they continue to allow Khalistanis to operate in their country. That's what we want. Here's a report.
The suspected RPG blast in Mohali's Punjab intelligence headquarters at 7:45 p.m. on Monday has put the state on high alert.
The exclusive visual of the room where the RPG was launched at 7:45 p.m. That was the time when the RPG was launched. You can see in the middle of the building there is a room with the lights, and some forensic team and Punjab police officers are inside and still investigating the matter. The spot from where the RPG was fired, that was also identified by the Punjab police, and even a search was being carried out at the place to find out the technical evidence, if any, left behind by the attackers.
The Mohali police has recovered the launcher used in this attack. The police is not ruling out a terror hand.
What is the Khalistan angle in the investigation?
कोई जानमाल का नुकसान नहीं हुआ है और बाकी इन्वेस्टिगेशन जो निकलेगा वो आपके
And the NIA has already initiated an investigation.
In the RPG attack on Punjab intelligence headquarters, now the investigation is inclined toward the pro-Khalistani activist. Just because Harvinder Singh Rinda, who is a Khalistani activist, he turned to be the mastermind behind this attack. This is the investigation revealing. And in fact, the Punjab police, NIA and Indian Army is jointly investigating this matter, trying to identify the local network of Harvinder Singh Rinda and the pro-Khalistani activists who are presently sitting in Pakistan and trying to nail them down.
A fin-stabilized rocket was used in the Mohali terror attack. This has a larger diameter warhead, and the explosive that was used was a TNT. Sources also indicating that the terrorists were largely inexperienced, and that is the reason why perhaps this does not lead to a large-scale destruction. A hideout was basically used to carry out this attack. Investigators have so far narrowed down on one car that was basically parked not very far away from that very building where the attack took place, and 2 people have been identified so far.
The blast comes a day after the Khalistani group Seeks for Justice got Khalistani flags put up outside the Himachal Pradesh Assembly. Fact is, the Khalistan terror plot is real. In Mohali, there's a possible Rinda link to the Punjab intelligence headquarters blast. In Dharamsala on the 8th of May, Khalistani flags were seen in Himachal Assembly. On the 6th of May, across Haryana, Khalistani-linked arrests were made. On the 30th of April, it appeared pro-Khalistanis were involved in the Patiala clashes. On the 29th of April in Malerkotla, Khalistani flags were seen outside the police office. On the 19th of February, ISI-backed terrorists with Canadian links were arrested in Sonipat. On the 6th of January in Firozpur, a Khalistan plot to disrupt the Prime Minister's rally unravelled. The allegations from across the political spectrum is that the Aam Aadmi Party is going soft on Khalistani terror.
ये तभी हो सकता है जब आप ऐसे लोगों के प्रति सिंपैथी रखते हो और उनको पता चल गया हो कि जो आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार है ये अलगाववादियों को सपोर्ट करेगी, सपोर्ट कर रही। पंजाब के मुख्यमंत्री भगवंत मान जी को मैं बोलना चाहता हूं कि भगवंत मान जी, आपको प्रदेश की जनता ने मुख्यमंत्री चेहरे के बाद चुना है। आप पंजाब की पुलिस का भी इमेज बचाइए, आप पंजाब को भी बचाइए।
आप पंजाब गवर्नमेंट इज क्लियरली प्रूविंग टू बी इंजूरियस टू द सिक्योरिटी, peace and law and order health of Punjab. It is high time Mr. Bhagwant Mann should start acting like the Chief Minister of Punjab.
There can be no go slow on the Khalistani terror plot. An all-out crackdown is and has been the only way. Let's debate.
I don't know why it's so difficult to go all out against the Khalistanis. I've been asking for it, and somewhere I feel that all parties are like giving us excuses. It doesn't work. It's just getting too much. Who is this puny little character, Pannu, who keeps, screaming every single day, issuing threats? Why isn't he picked up? I mean, Sanju Verma, we do business with the Americans. We have leverage on the Canadians. We have huge leverage on the British. Huge leverage, Ramnik Maan. Huge leverage today. Sushant Sari, his geopolitical analyst, can tell you. Piyush Joshi, welcome. Abab Singh Grewal, Pankaj Sharma. My first question. I see your hand go up, but listen to the question. My first question is, one man, one nondescript Sikh for justice, right? All kinds of threats. We can't teach them a lesson? I don't know. Who's protecting him? The Americans? The Canadians? The British? Our government is talking to the British about a free trade agreement. Boris Johnson was here. We can't use our leverage? Or are you saying, no, it doesn't matter, let these people do what they want to do?
Okay.
No, Sanju, first to you, and then I have questions for everyone. Sanju Verma, opening the debate, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Arnab. First and foremost, I think we need to understand here that it is in the last 45 days, that the Khalistan terror angle has received a lot of encouragement, abetment, and I have no qualms in saying that the Aam Aadmi Party is trying its best to legitimize Khalistanis. Let us not forget that since 2012, the social media head of Aam Aadmi Party in Himachal Pradesh says, it is my constitutional right to ask for Khalistan to have a Khalistani flag and to deal in Khalistani currency. And after 10 long years, one fine day, only after tremendous media pressure in May 2022, the Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal woke up to the fact that they had a Khalistani in their list and said, "Humne to isko expel kar diya hai." I have pointed questions. Arnab, you raised a valid point. We have a lot of clout with United Kingdom, Canada, what have you. My simple point is this: the Indian government is doing what it needs to do and will do more. But please tell me, what was Arvind Kejriwal, what was Bhagwant Singh Mann, and what was Raghav Chadda doing on the 15th of April 2022, posing happily for photo op sessions with Tamanjeet Singh Dhesi, a UK parliamentarian who has openly said that he wants Khalistan? Why are tough questions not being asked of Kejriwal? Why are tough questions not being asked of Congress, which in February 2022 fielded...
Who's the British parliamentarian? One minute. Let's be focused. Who's the British parliamentarian you referred to?
Tamanjeet Singh Dhesi.
Tamanjeet.
Tamanjeet. T for train, T for tundra.
Okay. Now, and you are saying, 1 minute. Tamanjeet Singh Dhesi.
Dhesi.
How do you... Okay.
On 15th of April 2022, Raghav Chadda, Arvind Kejriwal, and Bhagwant Mann have posted photos sharing the platform with him. Why questions are not being asked of the political dispensation in Punjab and Arvind Kejriwal? I dare Kejriwal to say Khalistan Murdabad.
I'm asking you... Okay, 1 minute. Now this, well, just 1 minute. I'm asking you, first of all, I don't know much about the antecedents of this fellow Tamanjeet Singh Desi, but I'm asking you, I'm asking the AAP spokesperson tonight that is it true that this man is pro-Khalistani, right? And if he is pro-Khalistani, then what are your senior party leaders doing posing with a pro-Khalistani politician from UK? Or will you say that it does not matter? For me, it matters. Did your leaders pose, and Ramnik Man is on the debate with you, this debate suddenly took a different turn. 1 minute, it took a different turn.
I dare the AAP
No, you're daring him, she's daring you again. Okay, she's back. What are you daring? 1 minute.
खालिस्तान मुर्दाबाद बोलिए खालिस्तान मुर्दाबाद बोलने की हिम्मत नहीं है तुम लोगों में and you question the Modi government 24/7 it is the Modi government
let me please
it is the Modi government which declared Gurpatwant Singh Pannu as a terrorist under USDA. It is the
Are you saying, no, 1 minute. I don't know about this Desi fellow, but I'm asking you, and I'll ask you some follow-up questions. And Sanju, please allow others also to come into the debate. Now this Desi fellow, I don't know who he is, but the fact is that will he say Khalistan Murdabad?
He will not.
Will Desi say Khalistan Murdabad? And should your party leaders not ask him, will you say Khalistan Murdabad? Because you can't dodge. No, 1 second. The fact is that you see, 1 minute, Sanju now, your attempts at co-anchoring the program had failed. You are not one of my senior colleagues. I cannot allow you to attempt to co-anchor the program. Please, Sanju. The question is this. Now, Sanju, please. The question is this. Did your party leaders pose with a pro-Khalistan leader from UK? Simple answer, yes or no? What happened, Abab? You can't hear me? You can hear me. My producers are telling me you can hear me. Your hand is up, but my question is to you. Did your party leaders pose with a pro-Khalistan MP and from UK? And my question is in the context that there are question marks raised over the Aam Aadmi Party for being soft on Khalistani elements. Did you pose? Did your leaders pose with this Tamanjeet Singh Desi? What happened to the audio? Why is he not hearing me? He can hear me, Ramnik. I'm just checking. He can hear me. You can hear me?
Mr. Goswami.
Yes. Go on.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking a question to
No, I'm
the
asking
lady.
only you.
Okay. Sir, I've got 3 points and an observation. The first point, to the Khalistanis, to ISI, to SFJ, bring it on. Bhagwant Mann, Aam Aadmi Party and we Punjabis are ready and willing and able. Our fathers fought you, we are ready. Number one. Number two, to the perpetrators of yesterday's crime, Punjab police has accepted the challenge. Sir, give me 2 minutes.
Did your party leaders, I have seen your public statements. We have carried your public statements. However, Mr. Abab, you are repeating your public statements, whereas I am asking a very focused question. Is there any iota of truth in Sanju Verma's accusation? 1 minute, that your party leaders have posed with a pro-Khalistani member of parliament from UK, yes or no?
Sir, if you give me 30 seconds, I will answer that. Number two. Number three, to the people doing politics over this. It was Darbara Singh and Gyani Zail Singh who brought in Pentrawala. Sir, 1 minute, DJ. Who brought in Pentrawala? It was the Akalis who secured their rotis.
Questions are to you. You're in power now, no?
Sir, 1 minute. Sir, 1 minute. And it's the BJP under whose rule Mr.
Sanju, hold on, please. I'm getting everyone in. Please, let's open up to 3 versus 2 versus 2. I'm not getting an answer.
I'll give you an answer. Ma'am, give me 10 seconds. Ma'am, give me 10 seconds. Ma'am, give me 10 seconds. An MP came from England. He came with a delegation. He met everybody. Ma'am, wait a minute. Ma'am, Khalistan Murdabad, what are you talking about? Ma'am, my family has fought against these guys. Don't. Are Khalistan Murdabad ji. मैम सुन लीजिए, अरे आरएसएस की टोपी उतारिए, खालिस्तान मुर्दाबाद है, था और रहेगा। सुनिए, अरे सुनिए, हम
Sanju, now, please pull back, Sanju. The debate, I ask you here. Now, I ask you a question, Abab. Abab,
if I can hear you,
yesterday, Shawan can confirm here. Yesterday, Shawan is joining us today, and Shawan, by the way, who has just come back from Ukraine, is the only Indian journalist who has carried out a sting operation a few years back on the Khalistani forces in the UK, for which there were attempts made to target him as well. So he knows these people very well. The question being, Shawan, are all political parties a little soft on the Khalistanis? And if so, for what reason? Let's go to the fundamentals. Let's cut the chase. Shawan, and let's get others into the debate. Shawan.
Well, in fact, when it comes to all political parties, even the center here needs to answer, because the National Investigation Agency had a team which had gone all the way to Canada. They submitted a dossier. This is with regards to the workings of the SFG, and there was no follow-up thereafter. So the question needs to be asked about them also. Has the central agencies been a little soft on the Khalistani network? And secondly, Sanju, give me a minute. As far as the Punjab government is also concerned, in the last 3 months itself, or rather 2 months itself, there have been multiple cases. On 30th of April, you've had Khalistani activists brandishing swords on the streets of Patiala, and there was no action that was basically taken. So the fact of the matter is that very little has been done.
Bars, Mr. Shravan, they are behind bars, and they are behind bars, and look at them today. The media will show you they are behind bars. You're not talking about the entire network. We are talking about the entire network. 2 or 3 arrests does not solve the problem here. Here, you're talking about arms and ammunition that have been recovered in kilograms, in several kilograms.
No,
arms dropping has taken place.
No, the point being, and I'm going to Ramnik, the impression that is going out, I'm only calling it an impression right now, Shawan, because there's nothing to really, technically or legally, link the AAP government coming to the emergence or the re-emergence of the Khalistani forces. But the impression that is going around, and Sushant will back me up on this, Sushant and Ramnik on one side, and I want others to come in on the other, is that impression going on, Ramnik, is that things have got worse in the last few weeks. That's the impression.
It has. As a matter of fact, Arnab, you can say that there is no direct evidence, but there is circumstantial evidence, and there is sufficient circumstantial evidence. Sanju was pointing out to Tanman Singh Desi coming to India and the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Raghav Chadha receiving him. Yes, he's a Khalistani sympathizer, but who let him inside the country? Who allowed him to land in India? That is a question Sanju needs to answer. Now, the second question is...
Sanju, in the middle. Sanju's already answering that. No, it's a good question. No, Sanju in the middle, Sanju, yeah.
No RPG used. There was no RPG used. Sanju, hold your horses. Sanju, you keep going on. You never listen to others. No. Yes, Arvind Kejriwal is in the bed with the Khalistanis. I can say that with a lot of conviction. Arvind Kejriwal is...
How? He's being challenged. How he says? How says Abab? Ramnik and Abab are on the debate.
You can't go on.
Ramnik and Abab are on the debate right now, please.
Arnab, Sanju keeps hijacking the debate.
No, 1 minute. She's not hijacking, but Abab is countering you. Because you made a categorical statement, right?
How are we in bed with the Khalistanis?
He has taken money from the Khalistanis. He's taken their support.
Where?
And now
he's taken money.
Spokesperson can say
he's taken money. You're saying that's a big allegation. Where is he taking money? Where is the AAP taken money from the Khalistanis? Come on now,
Mr. Ramnik, you have taken money from the CIA.
Yes, you have taken money from the Khalistanis. You have been...
Oh, the debate goes out of whack right now. 50-50 on the debate. 1 minute. You made a serious allegation. Who took money? No, Abab is countering you strongly. Abab. How he says? How?
Gurpantwar Pannu is on record. He has produced receipts. Arnab, Gurpantwar Pannu has projected receipts.
How do you believe Pannu? How do you believe Pannu? I don't know about the receipts. 1 minute. Abab, 1 minute. 1 minute now. 1 minute. Abab, 1 minute. Ramnik, 1 minute. I don't know. There's a very serious allegation that's being made here. That money has been taken by AAP from Khalistanis. 1 minute, please. Now, when everybody comes on, Anand, 1 minute, let's have a focused debate, please.
I have it with
please,
me right
please,
now.
please.
Shared receipts of money paid.
How do you believe those receipts? How do you believe the receipts?
Mr. Goswami, if we have taken money from anybody, Mr. Goswami, if we have taken, we challenge you, come and catch us, NIA, ITF, if we have taken even a single penny. Mr. Ramneek, come on. Mr. Ramneek, come on. You are making baseless allegations. Listen, sir, I am saying we challenge anybody if we have taken a penny. If a penny has come to, I have been with this party.
The CIA funded agency's money. Ford Foundation is a CIA frontal organization, is it not? Has Arvind Kejriwal not admitted taking money from the Ford Foundation? Has
Arvind Kejriwal taken money from the Ford Foundation? He asked here. Abab. Let's understand one thing, okay? Now see. 1 minute, please. I want to bring in Sushant here. We first must understand the seriousness of what's going on. And for that, before we push these questions to each other, I want Sushant to come in. And let's understand the seriousness of what is happening. Now, Sushant, these incidents, banners being put up, posters being put up in Dharamshala. But yesterday's was serious. It's a rocket launcher attack. A targeted rocket launcher attack on the 3rd floor of the Punjab police headquarters, in which the intelligence base is there. Yesterday, the first response which we got, there has been a consistent attempt, Sushant, to downplay what happened yesterday. By the government, by the police, as a minor incident. Is it a minor incident?
No, Arnab, it's not a minor incident, but at the risk of provoking Sanju Verma again, let me just raise a couple of issues on some of the points on which she was very agitated, but she has to keep quiet so that somebody else can talk. And my first question was, of course, the one which Ramneek asked. Why was a man like Tanmanjeet Singh Dhesi, who is an avowedly pro-Khalistani, pro-Pakistani guy, who's always spoken against India, always tried to damage Indian interests, why was he allowed into India? Who gave him the visa? The visa had to be given by the central government. The Punjab government or the AAP government could not have given him a visa, number one. Number two, Dhesi also met people from the central government. There were central government ministers who met him. There were photographs published. But having said that, I think let's come down to more substantive issues. There are, number one, before I come to your question, there are serious allegations, if you will, against the AAP for hobnobbing or flirting with some of these fellows, the Khalistani element. So there are some of those charges against them. But I think the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. What scares me is the spate of incidents that have happened ever since the AAP government has come into office. Correct. It seems to have emboldened some of these elements of the Khalistanis to carry out their activities. And then it falls upon the head of the AAP government in Punjab to dispel all those allegations, all those charges which are being heaped against them for being soft on the Khalistanis or dabbling with them. Now, I am not making any specific charge against anybody, but I think we will see how much alacrity the government in Punjab acts with against these elements, and not just on an episodic manner, but in a holistic manner to completely eliminate these networks and break the nexus of the drugs, the gun running, and the terrorism network, which is very operative in Punjab. We will see that in the next couple of months. But Arnab, what scares me hell of a lot is what the question which you asked, that constantly downplaying it. No, not a big incident. No, we are trying to examine what is happening. You go back to 1979, 1980. Please go back to that era and please look at the reports which would come at that point of time, and how every single political party at that point of time, just like today, was either downplaying it or was flirting with these elements or was trying to use them for their own political purposes, thinking they'll be able to manage it. And you saw a steady uptick in these attacks. And then For me, the tipping point was the killing of DIG Atwal just outside the Golden Temple. I think that is when
yes.
we should have
No, they are
woken up.
not. They are
And
not.
we
You are not.
continue to
No,
play
no, no.
these politics. Let me tell you something.
Let him finish.
Just let me say one more sentence.
Very
Arnab.
serious. Yeah.
I fear, and I hope I am wrong, but I fear we are now not just not only is it just starting, but I think this Khalistani terror network has started already. We are now on that glide path where this is only going to go up unless this is squashed right now immediately.
I would add to that one more thing. No, I would say.
The Punjab police is focused more
No,
on
1 minute.
getting hold of Ramneek Maan and arresting him. If that is what the focus of the Punjab police is, rather than busting
No.
Khalistani
The focus of the Punjab police right now, and you will not like me to say this. 1 minute, please. 1 minute. The problem with many state governments, Sanju, 1 minute. There are two panelists who haven't even spoken yet. There are two panelists who have not even spoken yet, please. The problem with the state governments is they don't know their focus. You see, Pankaj and Dr. Piyush Joshi. State governments get so excited when they have the police force under them that they say, let's first target all the journalists, all the media, all our political opponents. Let's really go after them. Let's show our muscle. Let's arrest Kumar Vishwas. Let's arrest, what's that fellow's name? Who's very active on social media? Tajinder Bagga, who's coming in a few minutes on my program. Is that why they were elected? Is that why they were elected? This is a true test. He's completely right. Yes, Dr. Piyush Joshi from Indore. Yeah.
The attack is actually unfortunate. It should have been prevented. There is no doubt about it. And now, since this unfortunate incident has taken place, then I think the Khalistani movement should be nipped in the bud. Because, and I'm sure that the state government and the central government and all the intelligence agencies will work in coordination to...
How can they when they are fighting over Bagga?
No. It's like it's not a small police force. The intelligence wing is different. If someone is filed a case, there are thousands of
No, but yesterday, Dr. Joshi, when the story broke, when Republic broke it, around this time yesterday, when it broke yesterday, the first sort of informal response which came in was, no, there's no rocket attack. It was an explosion which happened off an explosion that suddenly exploded on its own. Now tell me, why would there be a grenade inside the intelligence office of the Punjab police?
No, of course.
No.
The police would have investigated the matter.
No, police is trying to downplay. Shravan, am I not right? Shravan will tell you more.
Absolutely.
Shravan will tell you more. Was they not downplaying yesterday? Why are they downplaying it? Yeah.
They called it number one a minor explosion.
There's no doubt about
it. Of course, there were multiple attempts, not once, multiple attempts that were made by the police to downplay this entire incident. First, they called it a minor explosion. Second, you had the SSP coming out and giving a sound bite.
They have not downplayed this movement. They have not downplayed this attack. There is a finite time for an investigation.
They were downplaying it, sir. Yesterday, they were seriously. Even today, it was being downplayed by the DGP when he came on air. You see,
the used to admit it was a RPG attack. Arnab, it's a military-grade hardware. The RPG-7 used is a military-grade hardware.
It's a very serious attack. The pictures are on the screen. Pankaj.
It's
never happened in 75 years.
Pankaj.
It was a rocket-propelled grenade. It was a
rocket-propelled grenade. Yeah. Now tell me, in the middle of in the Punjab, a few kilometers from the Punjab capital, rocket-propelled grenade being fired at the police headquarters. What are we? This Taliban country or what? Or complete lawlessness?
We are not a Taliban country.
No, then why? How is a rocket-propelled grenade being fired at the police headquarters? How are they feeling so emboldened? How are they being so emboldened, Pankaj?
And what has been done about that?
When a government is perceived as slushy and pulpy on extremist elements, it is apparent that these elements will thrive. That is what is unfortunately happening in Punjab. The recent re-emergence of radicalism has a direct correlation with the perception about Aam Aadmi Party and its leadership among the militants.
Abab is on. Abab is back. Abab is back. So there's a challenge to Abab and Pankaj and Sanju.
Sir,
No, Sanju is also back.
Hell with the, sir, let me finish. To hell with the Khalistani. Ma'am, we can either shout over, we can shout over each other, or you can let me finish and then you can have your point. The first thing is, to hell with the Khalistanis, to hell with them. Number two, it is just like when those guys came to Bombay. Thankfully, we contained this. Ma'am, stop screaming. Miss Verma.
Sir, please take care of the law and order situation.
Come on, ma'am, you need to get your ears clean.
Elected government is deemed to have a fellow feeling for the
I think this is, you know, what I'm telling you, Mr. Ahbab, I'll tell you one thing, no gratuitous advice, but I want to tell you one thing. See, Mr. Ahbab, your party on every political occasion, Pankaj, your party on every political
purposes.
Mr. Ahbab, your party on every political occasion likes to market itself using the tricolour. I want to tell you, you are on test. This is the first time, Mr. Ahbab, in which you are in power with a police in a border state. You need to understand your responsibility.
Goswami, we will protect our country with our lives like our fathers did. We will fight for our tricolour. We will not allow these people to come in. To hell with them. To hell with the Khalistanis. To hell with a lot of them.
And ladies and gentlemen, on the debate now.